Hello and welcome to Guided Towards Greatness at the Energetic Movement Collective. My name is Julie Wynn, and as you can tell by the severe upload of me in the same outfit, I am on a rampage today on just this information I feel really passionate about sharing. And I'm also about to just immerse myself for 6 weeks in dance and investigating myself as a teacher, as a choreographer, and that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to share with you when I come back in September, kind of these things that I've uncovered about myself. I love it that dance is this tool that's kind of this unlayering. I had a teacher a long time ago, and he was describing to the students that technique is just like peeling an onion. You finally get to the core and the basis. Dance has been like that. It's a great mirror for me in my life, that you keep uncovering these things about yourself, and in that uncovering, hopefully you're learning how to love yourself, accept yourself, and step into your power a lot more. So that's ultimately the purpose of these videos. This one today is for the moms, and I think maybe these next couple ones are going to be the moms too. So if you don't know, if you haven't tuned in, I have been a studio owner for 17 years. I've been a dancer since I was 3. I was a professional dancer in my early 20s. Now I'm a life coach, and I have a daughter, and so now I'm out of the studio competition world, kinda. And I say kinda just because my daughter is kind of showing signs that she likes it, so I may be in it as a full-time dance mom. But since I have this amazing experience of being on this side as a studio owner and dealing with moms, and then now I am that mom, I have so many aha moments. So one, let me tell you, I'm in the same boat, so don't think that some of these things are really harsh when I'm saying it the way I'm saying it, but I'm just saying it as truth. So we're just having this simple, blunt conversation. When you ask anybody what's the biggest problem in the dance studio world, it is the dance moms. You guys, we suck and we cause a lot of pain, and we're a total pain in the ass to people, okay? And now that I'm a dance mom, I understand why. If I was my client, you know what I'm saying? I would so hate myself, because I am the mom who's a total hot mess. I never read any of the newsletters. I never know what's going on. I'm late for registration. I'm not consistent in class. I'm that person. And I should totally know better, because as a studio owner, you would think that I'd want to be the most angelic, awesome dance mom. But now I'm a dance mom, and I totally get it. So I want to have this conversation with you guys, because I think the dance world is amazing, and you are making a huge financial investment, time investment, and I just think we can make it so much better if we are aware of how we are and taking care of ourselves. So let's get started. I'm so passionate about this. Let me tell you a quick little funny story. The first time I really got this oh my God, I get it, was it was my daughter's dance recital, and it was the week of, and I don't know any information, and so I just already had it planned that her recital's on Sunday, right at 2:00. So that week I was oh gosh, I need to go get my tickets. So I go to the front desk, and I was hey, I need to get tickets for my daughter. And the office manager was oh, well, she's in, I said the 2:00 show, and she was oh, well, she's in the 10:00 show. And I was oh, I thought she was in the 2:00 show. She was well, she's in both. She's in the 10:00 show, and she's in the 2:00 show. And I was cussing in my head, because I don't want to be at a dance recital all day on Sunday at 10 and 2. I thought we were going to get up, have breakfast, get ready, watch her dance, a 2-minute dance on the show, and then we are going to be done. And now that means call time's at 9:30, so now we have to get up, which anything that happens in my house before 10 o'clock is way too early. So now we have to get up, I have to get her ready, be at the show. She dances for 2 minutes. Then we have to come home and just kind of sit around, because the event's a little kind of far away from our house. Sit home, wait for a minute, then go back and then watch her dance again for 2 minutes. And I got mad as a dance mom, because I'm thinking that if she's in 2 classes, she can just be in the same show and do both of her only 2-minute dances in one show. So that was my experience. I should have read the information. I get it, blah, blah. But the cool thing is that I bought, and plus it cost me another, and then I had to buy tickets for the other show, right? So I'm like, it went from like $20 to $40, which isn't a big deal, but it kind of is for 4 minutes. So, I'm like, cool, okay, great. Oh, thank you. Got my tickets, walked out, and I was like, oh my God, because in an instant, all of the moms who ever came to the front desk complaining and bitching about scheduling, like ran like a past life, like through my mind, like all these moms. And I get it. I now, on the other side, I understood the frustration. And I also get, as a studio owner, that I would tell them, it is virtually impossible to get everybody in the same show. You're going to have to deal with it. I'm sorry, this is just the way it is, because there's nothing more I can do. Like, it's impossible. I'm not going to please everybody. Somebody's going to be upset, whatever. So I have now experienced the karma of both sides of it. So I get it, you guys. I so get it. I get it. I get it as a dance mom now, and you're like, I got other things to do than to spend my Sunday watching my kid dance. Not that I don't want to, and not that I don't love it. It's just a little inconvenient. And then again, as a studio owner, you're like, I'm doing the best as I can. This information has been out forever. Sorry about your luck that you didn't read the information. Too bad. So I'm in both of it. I'm right in the middle. Like, it's kind of like, so anyway, I can help you as the dance mom because I have the experience as studio, as a director and the teacher, and then now I'm getting the experience and understanding the frustration that comes along with the dance mom. I also know what it's like to just be sitting in your car waiting for your kid to dance. I also know what it's like to have a career and be working during the day, and then when you get done, then you're in the car, which who wants to ever be in the car, especially if you're in Colorado and you have Colorado traffic, or if you're LA, or any actually big city has traffic. Like, you're sitting in traffic, you're hot, then you wait an hour, and then you got to come home, then you have to do dinner, then you have to do schoolwork with your kids, then you have to get ready to go to bed, and then you have to get up and do the whole thing. Like, it is such a juggling act, and you're not going to be nice all the time, and sometimes you're going to have a short fuse, and maybe you're going to say things that you shouldn't be saying to somebody in the studio or whatever. And do you see how, though, the way I'm talking now also then opens the door for constant bitching? I'm in a bad mood, so I want to go talk to Mike. Can you believe that and I'm blah 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 and and then this brings all of this toxicity into the studio where everybody is complaining because we're tired and whatever, right? And we think that things can be better, and then I'll tell you what happens as a studio owner. We hear all of this, so then our barriers come up, and then we don't really want to do anything because now we're in fight or flight and survival mode, right? Because now we feel like everybody in our lobby is unhappy or not satisfied or angry or upset about something, and then we do this. On that note, I also understood it when I I took my daughter to a dance convention. It was the first time that I showed up as an independent and not affiliated with any studio, and I'm not a dance teacher, studio owner now, so I'm just a dance mom. I go in, grab her band, put it in, go to the classroom, right? My daughter's all set in class. And I had this huge awareness again, because now I'm living the karma of dance. Because now I'm not the studio owner and director, but I can see like this awareness of like how I was when I was playing that role, and how I would keep blinders on. And because I didn't want to be distracted by these things. And I think it's because energetically you can feel the energy that people are giving off. So if you feel people are complaining, you kind of do this and you just stay focused on what you got to do and maintain and to be happy and whatever. Drink some wine. But I realized when I was walking from, the classroom to the bathroom, usually as a studio owner director, I would close my ears to anything that was going on. I would seriously, in my head, I'd be like, I am so grateful to be here. I am so great. I would run through my gratitude list because I knew I had a really long day, and I can feel the energy of the space, and it's loud and chaotic, and that people are competitive. Like, I just feel the energy, and it was very draining and daunting. So I had my own little like rituals that I would do. So I would never listen to anything that was happening in the hallway. Well, now I'm not a dance teacher or director. I'm just a mom. So I'm like, I'm going to be curious. So what I saw was, and heard was, this group of parents talking over here, this group of parents talking over here, this group of parents talking over here. And then I go into the classroom, and I'm not even like done with my Starbucks. So it's maybe only like 9 o'clock. And then this other mom comes in, and she's talking about how, well, we just think this is going to be and mind you, it's the beginning of the dance season too. She says, well, we just may not be coming back next year, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, she's complaining. I don't even know what she's saying. But I had this moment of, all right, dance moms, myself included, are the ones who are causing all of this drama and problems. And energetically, if it's 9 a.m., and the kids are here and super stoked and having a great time, yet the other part of this equation that fills this space, which is dance moms, and most of us are tired or complaining, and or it's easier to gossip with somebody because you at least have something to talk about, right? Try having a conversation without gossip. Sometimes it's really difficult. You don't have anything to talk about. So we get it. Again, this is just bringing awareness to what is happening and how we can make it better and how we can make a different choice. But totally get it. It's easier to gossip. So you see your friends, you dip into what is comfortable, which is usually complaining or talking about your long night or like how long rehearsals went last night or such and such, blah, 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 blah. But it's all happening before 9 a.m. So, of course, then I was like, well, no wonder. I started to it's not that I didn't like myself at the end of being a studio owner. It didn't feel as freeing. And now I can see over the years of protecting myself, my boundaries got really close, so close that I think it became suffocating for me. And now I know why, because I started just to tune it out unconsciously, subconsciously, I tuned it out. And now that I'm not in that role anymore, I can see why and I can experience why. So this is my point. I think that I've been doing a lot of talks about how important it is for studio owners and directors to take the time to do a little bit of self-investigation. You're like, what do you want? What's your purpose? How do you want to build your community? How do you want to build your space? How do you want to build your dance studio? How are you being of service to other people, etc. And I think that same conversation needs to be had with us, the dance moms. Like, what can we do in our day to bring a little bit more happiness or compassion or empathy or understanding? And then also we play, so the same day, my daughter's first convention, the first time I was just like a convention mom, I so got like the understanding of being a crazy dance mom because, my daughter's not doing something and I wanted to like jump out of my seat and say my daughter's name and be like, da, 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 da. And I wanted to start coaching her. And since I'm aware, I felt the urge and I knew really quick I needed to make a choice of what kind of dance mom I was going to be. And I reminded myself that this is her journey. And mind you, she's little. She's only 5. So I get it. I get how the crazy dance mom syndrome can escalate because I started to experience at 5. But so I made that in that moment, this choice of like, this is her journey. Let her do her thing. She's got to figure it out. Your job is to observe. And if you cannot sit here and observe lovingly, you need to get your butt out of this room and let her have her experience. So I so get this, like, you want the best for your kids. And you have a huge investment and a time commitment. So of course you want them to be successful. Of course you want them to be called on stage. Of course you want them to get the scholarship and win first overall and get the best training and get private lessons and all of this kind of stuff. But it can be a huge snowball effect when we start down that road. And then we're reaching the brink of bringing our child to burnout, which gymnastics and competitive dance have one of the highest burnout rates. So it is our job as parents to, one, know the great power that we have to bring a lot more love and positive energy into the dance space. 2, we have to also have an awareness as dance moms of this fine balance between what is our needs, wants, and wishes for our child and what is their wants, wishes, and to remember that there's time, right? So I'll share another story. I did teach my daughter for a small, short nugget of time, and she's 3. She's 3 years old, okay? And I know my daughter is more on the creative side. My husband's an actor. She has a wild and amazing imagination. She definitely has her own fashion sense. She likes to do what she wants to do. So for instance, on her first convention, so here's about what I want and what she wants. I have her dolled up. I'm super excited. I get to be a dance mom. She gets to have a convention outfit. I get to slick her hair and put a bow in. I am super stoked. And I get her ready. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And then she comes out with ski goggles on her head and her bike gloves. And I'm like, well, you can't wear that. And my husband says, why not? And I said, okay, yeah, great. Okay, let's just go. So all weekend, my daughter is wearing ski goggles because for whatever reason that week she was into ski goggles and biker gloves. And sometimes during the class, she'd even pull down her little glasses and take class with her ski goggles on. And this was the perfect moment of me really having to check myself and let her have her experience. It is not my experience. My job is to support. Even though I needed the support of my husband to say, why not? Why can't she wear that? And I'm like, you're right. You're so right. Yep, she wants to wear it. She gets to wear it. So anyway, back to my other story. She's 3, teaching her how to skip, right? There's another little girl in the class, and she has the perfect skips with perfect toes. Dance teacher's dream. My kid is walks down, digs in her imaginary pocket, throws up some food, catches it, looks over her shoulder, and gives me a thumbs up. And I see this girl who I would dance teacher's dream, dance mom teacher's dream, and then I see my kid who's playing imagination over there. When I do take her if I teach at conventions somewhere and she's with me, she doesn't care about going across the floor. She just loves about how fast she can run from the end of the room, the convention room, to the back of the room. That's all she cares about. That's why she does her Batmas across, because she wants to run back, right? So I get it, but I also get that she has time. I can see, at 3, of course I want her to do perfect skips, but she's 3. And now that she's 5, she's starting to display little grooves of she wants to dance contemporary, and I love that. But I also check that I want how her talents are going to unfold with or without me. Her passion's going to unfold. My job is to support. And I'm telling you all this because I understand the work that it takes to be, a dance mom with awareness of what is yours and what is theirs, of how to support what and who they are. Because, for me, I preach and align with strongly, innovation and creativity and being your unique self. And yet I catch myself wanting her to be like the other kids and not wear her ski goggles. But I want her to feel empowered and loved and talented and creative. So I have to put my own kind of what are people going to think, or, whatever is going on in my head, and let her do her thing. And also this knowing that, there's time, especially with competitive dancers. Yeah, cool, put them in competitive dance at 5. Awesome. And know it's going to ebb and flow. And sometimes they're not going to be on their game, and that's fine. And you have to support them loving it, or loving where they're at, or learning how to take on challenges, or teaching them the importance of how to succeed. And then also how to be in this state of, a learning curve, and that is important. And then taking your own ego out. And I think that's really what it is when it comes to parenting for dancers and being in the competitive world, is always being aware of what is your own personal ego and what is your spirit. What is, what is the ego and this like competitive side that you want, and then what is it that your heart really wants. Like for me, my ego wanted my daughter to have like the cute little competition outfit on the bow, but my spirit doesn't care if she has on her goggles, and I actually think it's freaking awesome. But I have this awareness of my thoughts of what is ego and what is spirit. And the same thing goes for teaching your child that too, like what is your ego in the competition convention world and what is spirit? Like what do you really love to do? Like why do you like to dance? What was the best part about this convention weekend? And talk to them about that. And then it kind of opens up space for I guess like a deeper, more authentic experience. Yes, I'm not putting down because I'm competitive. So of course I want the scholarship and I want to be called on and I want to be the best in class and whatever. That's my personality. So I don't think that is anything negative as well that a dancer wants. But I think having a conversation with, well, why do you want to get called up on stage? For me, as a competitor, I liked getting called up on stage because it was like a notch for me. I always want to be bettering my best, and I'm always curious about myself. So, and what my possibilities are. So I took it as a challenge to see what is actually possible for me. I do recognize that sometimes we become on the cycle of encouraging validation from outside sources before we validate ourselves. So I think that's just a fine line that we have to be aware of, are we supporting the success because we need validation, because we don't have the validation within ourselves and the self-love and the confidence within ourselves, that we're seeking that from the outside source? And if so, then now we have an awareness about it, and now we know that we really need to work on our own self-goals and our perception about ourselves and what we think is possible, and really question, what do you think about yourself? How do you think of yourself as a dancer? Because those things too could be something that's holding your dancer back. And then for you too is, why do I want my dancer to get a scholarship or to get in this dance or whatever? Why is it important to me? And is that importance aligned with my ego, or is it aligned with my spirit? And what do I really want out of this entire experience? And then my last thing, always coming back to the balance of things. I think once we get slided into one way, it's really easy to stay in this cycle of wanting more and wanting more and wanting more and wanting more, especially if you're on the competitive side. It's like feeding this competitive monster. You then can never train enough, you can never get enough private lessons, and you can't go to enough ballet intensives in the summer and enough nationals and enough convention cities, and it just becomes this thing that you feed until you start to realize, I haven't connected with my husband for a week, or my family has not had a family vacation in years, or my daughter doesn't know what it's like to sleep in on Saturday mornings. And I remember as a kid sleeping in on Saturday mornings and waking up and watching TV and having cereal. Did I enjoy that? Yes, I did. Does she get that opportunity? No, she didn't. Does she need to have that every Saturday? Probably not. Would I like to have that every once in a while? Yes. So I think as dance moms, we're managing our family. We have other kids maybe who aren't in competitive, or who are in other competitive sports. So we're managing different areas. We want our kid to succeed. We're paying a fortune for competitive dance. And we also have a partner, most of us, a husband or a wife. And when do I get to see them too? So I think self-care for the dance mom is important too, for you having an awareness of what your role is in all of this, and then how you're creating balance, and then how are you able to nurture and support your dancer while also too supporting and nurturing your own needs, and also then supporting and nurturing the needs of your family and your life, and how you want all of this to go. So just food for thought, and for dance moms too, to know that I got to experience the negative part, and then what I understood is that this negative part of the gossip and the constant unhappiness and yada 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 how that, it was like this ping ball effect. Like, we sit here as dance moms complaining, getting frustrated about things, and then the dance studio owners and teachers just put up protective mode, and then they're really guarded and kind of don't want to deal, and they just kind of like, wish that people would trust them and their decision making in the process of things. And then it just doesn't really create this really great, harmonious, supportive vibe, where real success lies. You know what I'm saying? So as dance moms, I think, again, being a dance mom with huge awareness on the power that we have to really infiltrate positivity, love, success, and community. What kind of environment do we want our child to thrive in? Do we want it to be in this toxic competitive environment, or do we want it to be supportive and like it takes a village to raise a dancer type of mentality? You know what I'm saying? And how are we emotionally adding to that, physically adding to that, and spiritually or from your heart, how are you adding to that? How do you look at other kids, teammates? Do you look at them competitors, or do you look at them as opportunities to grow? What do you think about your studio owners? How do you approach the space too? We always teach the dancers to approach how you approach the space, and the energy that you bring into the space is very important. But that same rule goes to the clients as well. And yes, I get it, you're paying money, I totally get it, but you also, or we have a responsibility as well to approach the space and bring as much love into the space for our children to thrive. So if these dancers are creating love in the studio space, but we're on the outside, bringing negativity and gossip and unhappiness into the space, there's a huge conflict, right? So you can feel it. You can feel energy. You get it. That if somebody's in a bad mood, you don't even have to ask them like, hey, are you in a bad mood? I can't really tell. Right? So the same thing is with negative energy and negative talk and unhappiness and that kind of stuff. And we can contaminate a really positive space. But in that same vein, it's this 3 parts. Which is why I'm doing these videos, for it to be completely whole, which is the ultimate goal, and supportive and loving and creative and innovative, and did I say supportive, space for us to thrive in. There's the studio owners, teachers, there's the dancers, and there's the parents. And we as the parents also have to be able to hold space and have our own intentions about what we want for the space, what we want for the child. And I think a lot of that comes back to then, how are we in our lives? Are we balanced? Because when we know that when we're out of balance, we're like a loose wire. We just, So, self-care. Are you, maybe instead of sitting in the car, you go for a walk. Or maybe try not to gossip for a day and ask somebody, like, how are you feeling? What's going on in your life? What do you love to do? I don't know. I love talking about spirituality, so I will always go down that vein, and asking people, like, what they like, what they're into, what excites them. Like, that's all talk that I enjoy, but not everybody enjoys that. So, I don't know. Like, small little things that you can do to kind of change the vibe, and I think it takes all of us. And then hopefully, you guys, we don't get such a bad rap as dance moms. Like, seriously, I'm not kidding you. If you go to don't tell anybody. It's an insider scoop. But if you go to any dance teacher thing, or if you talk to any convention owner, who's the biggest problem in all of this? You guys, it's always the dance parents. Always. Always. And I don't think it has to be. I just think we as dance moms don't create enough time for our own self exploration, self-love, again, knowing what lights us up inside, so maybe if we're not so fulfilled, we are putting all of that into our kids, and our kids then have to satisfy our own ego, our kids have to satisfy our spirit. But being able to take the time to make sure that we are also being nourished as women, as moms, dance moms, wives, whatever, so we can too always approach the space with love and joy and balance and harmony and understanding, which, again, at the beginning of the story, if you rewind whatever, like 20 minutes ago, I'm sure, but if you stuck with me this long, thank you so much. But this awareness of where the frustration comes from as the parent, and where the frustration comes in from the studio owner, and then where this huge miscommunication gap happens in between. And if we can approach each other with more empathy, understanding, and a willingness to work together instead of working against each other, I think that would be great. And I think your experience then too with all of this would be so much more fun, and it doesn't have to be filled with so much drama, dance drama, which some people thrive off of drama, and that's cool. And maybe that's something to be aware of too. Like, does drama motivate me? Do I get like my adrenaline from drama? And is it healthy, and is it helping other people? And maybe yes, and maybe no. I don't know. But these are the things I think if everybody is taking a little bit more awareness, care of themselves, then we just, again, we get to create this more amazing dance studio, space, convention world, whatever. And you can take this time too, like, I don't know if I said this already, but instead of like waiting in the car, maybe you go for a walk, or, to understand too, like when you're feeling heated or when you're feeling stressed. Like if you're in a dance convention room all day, of course you're going to be wound up by like 5 o'clock and either want to drink with your friends in the bar, or you just aren't, like, you're just raw. You know what I'm saying? So what do you need on these days? I know as a dance studio owner, I had my ritual. I'd get up, I'd meditate, I'd set my intention for the day. If it was a really stressful convention, I would bring my journal, and I would journal during the competition. But anything that I needed to do to be good, if I needed to step out for lunch and get out of there and like feel like a human being sometimes, for a moment, that's what I needed to do. So again, it's like this awareness of like, when are you at your best, and when are you feeling happy and supportive and loving everything, and when do you feel like stressed, tired, pissed, annoyed, whatever, and what happened during the day, and what do you need more of to keep you, and how do you want to feel? Like, do you want to feel happy, joyous, supportive, have fun with your friends on the weekends, less drama, more balance, all of this kind of stuff? Or do you want to feel kind of like tired, stressed, pissed, resentful because you're paying so much, angry at other moms, in this toxic environment where everybody's just kind of complaining and bitching, like all of this kind of stuff? Which one do you want? I prefer this one, and I think most of us do too, because we really can thrive in a space that is filled with love and support, and to appreciate that is what dance is. We're giving these kids so much more than dance, and to know that, and to remember that, and to come back to your own personal core values as a mom and a dance mom, for what you want for yourself and what you want for your child, and how can you support, and again, be very mindful of what is the reaction due to the ego, and what is a reaction from the spirit, and being able to make those choices as best as you can from moment to moment, especially on a busy convention weekend. And not to mention, you guys, even nationals. Like, nationals are so long. So what do you need to do to keep yourself fresh and fun and grateful and supportive and refreshed? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's my little thing for the dance moms. I hope this helps. And sending you guys so much love. It is a hard job. I'm just now getting into it, and I realize it is really, really hard. So thank you for those who have come before me as dance moms and who have been really great, amazing inspirations. I can list so many of amazing dance moms. So may we all continue to be loving, supportive, patient, understanding, aware, awesome dance moms.